Hello everybody, Glass Half Dead here. Today I want to talk to you about Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team. That's what I always talk to you about. But specifically I want to talk to you about the Compendium teams that are still holding their own in the game. Let's be honest guys, it's 6 months in. We all kind of accept that yes, the bespoke teams, the specialist teams, whatever they are the real game. And Compendium was just there to tide us over in a very odd way so that people that are married to a faction as opposed to a game system and mechanics, which is literally all Warhammer players, they have something to continue to play. Cool, fine, we're there, let's move on. This isn't a debate about that. The game should be played with the specialist teams. Fine, all good. Instead, I want to talk to you about, for those that haven't quite yet accepted that they need to move on from the bespoke teams, they want to play Compendium. Perhaps they like the theme of Compendium, which is very generic, but they don't like the theme of their specialist team. Whatever their reasoning is, who knows? I just want to talk about the teams from Compendium that are still very, very good. And I want to tell you why they're good. And so if you are, for some reason, married to the Compendium, you don't want to go to bespoke teams, maybe you're still scared of them, but you also kind of want to do okay in tournaments, these are the 3 teams that you can look at that will still allow you to potentially win games at top tier tournaments. But of course, first, if you're a subscriber to our channel, I would like to give you a big double hello. Wow. So much wholesomeness. I don't know if a Harlequin team can truly contain it. Anyway, if you want that in the next video, like, subscribe, leave a comment right now, and that could be yours too. Let's get into the first team. And it has to be, I'm not specifically doing this in order, right? It's not like Harlequins are the top, and then it's the next team, then the third team. No. But I have my Harlequins here because they were here, I was hobbying on them anyway, and I decided to use them as a visual prop, I suppose. Not that anyone's looking at the screen at the moment. Let's talk about Harlequins. Harlequins are far and away the best Compendium team. There is no question about it. If you look at the top tournaments, you still get Harlequins, a Compendium team, in top 8s alongside Pathfinders, Novitiates, Vet Guard, Commandos, Warp Coven, and nobody seems to play AdMech, but whatever, that's AdMech for you. Right now, at LVO, there are Harlequins in the top 8. Right now, in London, there are Harlequins in the top 8. I'm recording this on a Sunday. I don't know where they're going to finish. That will be another video where I talk about results and of the tournaments that have occurred recently. Guys, Harlequins are absolutely amazing, and let me tell you for why. Harlequins are, if you want to do well and play a Compendium team, Harlequins are the default choice, okay? They are the best. Do we want to talk about Talons? No, they're dead to us. Okay, they got nerfed. Screw it. Right, Harlequins are so good because of a few reasons. The first one, which I think is the thing that makes them good for anybody to play, not just a top tier player, is Domino Field, which means that they essentially can't be shot, and so you can put them out just behind cover and you can't get sniped by vantage points. Cool. The second thing is flip belt, right? This is essentially fly. You can move anywhere. You can just ignore terrain. You just move straight through it. It's outstanding. Having your entire team have fly is super good for 2 reasons. Firstly, it makes your game plan really simple. Where do you want to go? Move there. You can just ignore this, like an entire aspect of the game, which is moving around terrain. You just, no, you don't need to think about that. You just move. Second, for a similar reason, kind of based on the first, the flip belt allows you to seriously lower your cognitive load when you're in a tournament. And this, of course, makes it quite good for top tier players as well. And of course, a top tier player can handle a higher cognitive load, but if you don't have to, it's best not to. The fact that you can just ignore the fact you have to pay very close attention to movement, and that is what makes, the definition of a strong player versus a bad player is how good you are at movement and careful positioning. And Harlequins just go, nah, That is why they are one of the top tier teams. They also have some really interesting stratagems. They have like just they're not called stratagems, are they? They're called not tac ops. My gosh, ploys, that's the word. They have the ability to fight and not take any damage. It costs you a CP, obviously. There are costs here, but like, yeah, super good. There's really no, like, I can't say anymore. They're just a really strong team. Also, personally, they're the only team that aren't Marines that are 3 APL, and I love me some 3 APL. It makes every model feel very thematic, feel very like powerful and strong, and like you're making real decisions and really affecting the game. Whereas even though, let's say, Vet Guard, Pathfinders, probably the best teams, right? Commandos, these are all great teams. They're 2 APL. And although, yeah, okay, they do stuff, I don't feel like they do stuff. They do, and I win games and whatever, but it's still like, 2 APL. I love 3 APL teams, purely for the power fantasy. But of course, it's not just the power fantasy, it's also just how good 3 APL is on the table. And you get to have 8 models with 3 APL, as opposed to the Marines 6 for Chaos Marines, or the Marines 5. Now, let's look at the next faction, and for this one, I kind of tossed it up. I'm going to go with Tyranids here. Now, why are Tyranids the second team I'm talking about? Tyranids were kind of a little bit of a boogie monster? Is that the word? A little bit of a scary thing. They're the boogeyman, that's the word, not a boogie monster. They can be the boogie monster though, sure. Because you had 10 Gene Stealer list. This is what scared everyone, because it, again, ignored vantage points. Since then, the community has decided to, through placement of terrain, nerf vantage points, essentially. Gene Stealers. If you're playing on a dense board, Gene Stealers are really strong. They still are. Like, if you just want to play a team, you're not into Harlequins, go ahead and play 10 Gene Stealers. You will very quickly find that, again, all of these teams have something in common, which is they are able to fundamentally ignore part of the game. For Harlequins, it's they are able to ignore terrain and movement, penalties and restrictions. For Gene Stealers, it's they are able to ignore like how cover works. You can just have the entire team not care about vantage points. Once you remove the benefits of vantage points from the game, some teams crumble just completely. Pathfinders play very well into Gene Stealers. And I actually think that might be why we're seeing less and less Tyranids on the boards in, high-ranking positions. Because Pathfinders, the strongest team, arguably, are actually, like, they have a very good matchup into Tyranids, because they manage to get around all of the Tyranids buffs and bonuses that make them a strong team. But if you removed Pathfinders from the game, I actually think Tyranids would still be doing really, really well. I have a tournament coming up on the 12th of February, and I was going to play Harlequin, because I wanted to keep it Compendium for one last tournament and just chill, and actually it's the first time I played a tournament in several months, so I thought, why not? But seeing just how well Harlequins have done recently, I'm like, ooh, nah, maybe not. So what I might do is take just 10 Gene Stealers. Not even the Warriors, just 10 Gene Stealers, and say, okay, let's see what I can actually do. Let's see if people have forgotten how difficult it is to play into Gene Stealers. And I genuinely think that if you ignore the fact that I'm a bad player, I think Gene Stealers are pretty strong, and I would do well if it wasn't for my skill level. Whoops. Okay, so Harlequins, Tyranids, sorry, all of Tyranids are good. I was focusing on Gene Stealers, but every Tyranid option is valid, hashtag valid. Which brings us to the third choice and the final choice, because, I don't want this to run on too long. We have a toss-up, and I know what the answer is. But in my mind, it is a toss-up, and that is between Talons of the Emperor, Custodes, even post-nerf. Post-nerf, they're not terrible. But they're probably not in the same league as Harlequins and Tyranids. But there's another one. Do you know what it is? Let's have a think. Is it Craftworld Eldar? Maybe. Is it Deathwatch? Maybe. No. it's Drukhari. Now, not everybody knows what the Drukhari do, because for whatever reason, they actually aren't a very popular faction. So we're mainly seeing them taking place on TTS, Tabletop Simulator, where people don't need to buy models and so they will just play any crazy old thing. And over there, we're seeing them actually perform very well. We do see them cropping up on occasion in real tournaments, and right now at LVO, there is a Drukhari player in the top 8. I would also like to just give a very quick shout out to the fact that I think Drukhari as a faction are pretty cool. I think they're a cool aesthetic faction, and they are something that you should never ever play in 40k. Because you are then that guy, even if you take all the worst models, and you're not playing them hard meta lists, because of how outrageously they perform in 40k, you can't play them unless you're a knob. But in Kill Team, you can play them. Because although they are good, they are not a specialist team. They're not on that power level, they're not that top tier, but they are still strong. Now, why are the Drukhari strong? There are 2 reasons for this. So one of them is Agile Gladiators, I think that's what it's called, which essentially allows your witches to move very fast. This is good. It means that you can get a very strong lead over halfway up the board turn 1. You can be very aggressive. You can score all of your points in the first 2 turns of the game, and even if you get tabled, you have dominated so hard in the first 2 turns, you're probably going to be fine, even if you get tabled at the end of turn 3. You also get access to 2 melters. Let's just say 2 melters, let's call them that, because if you don't know what the Drukhari stuff is, you get access to 2 melters, but they're full board melters. No 6-inch range, just boom. You see someone, kill them. Delete them from the game. Congrats, you're done. A Marine, not an issue. A Custodes, okay, might take you 2 shots, but they're still gone, right? So strong. It's crazy. They have just amazing weapons, to be honest. They also have very valuable equipment, so you can kit them out however you want, whether you want to go Witch heavy or Cavalite Warrior heavy. Also, they have a very interesting ability, which is you take these GA1 models, and for a CP, you can essentially make one of them GA2. You get that double activation of a very strong model. You can suddenly, for the cost of a mere CP, whittle down the enemy in a way that they do not expect. This is a ploy that I would consider an interruption ploy. I really like interrupting ploys. They allow you to shape the game in a way that your opponent is not expecting, because they never know. They allow you to shape the game. I really like interruption ploys because I think it's a really cool design space, and as long as it doesn't feel bad moments, negative player experiences, it can be very, very cool. It's kind of the same as in the old edition of Kill Team. If you get a kill in Overwatch, psychologically, that has a much larger effect than just getting a normal kill in your shooting phase. Same thing here. Interrupting the flow of your opponent's, the back and forth of the game, of your opponent's turn, is very strong. They have this ability where if you get a kill, pop a CP, somebody else can suddenly do more things. And this can be done to just chain to a GA2 thing, or it can be done in a way that you essentially just get another kill. Or it can be done in a way that allows a model that is already activated to get a kill. Now that I've said that, I'm going to have to read if that's true or not. Oh, my compendium's not here. I'll read about that later. Okay, everybody, and that is the end of the video. I've talked about the Harlequins, the Tyranids, and the Drukhari. I hope it's been vaguely interesting for you, and I hope that if you're wanting to stick to the Compendium for a little bit longer because you're still kind of scared of the specialist teams, as I am, I totally feel you there, don't worry, no shame. Hopefully this has guided you so you can stick to the Compendium, but still perform or have the ability, the statistical chance to perform relatively well in a tournament. Guys, this has been Glass Half Dead. If you made it to the end of the video, I'd like to give you a big triple hello. Wow. Such wholesomeness. Who thanks you? A warrior, a Necron warrior, gives you his wholesomeness for making it to the end of the video on his ice base. Guys, I hope you've had a good day and continue to have a good day. Goodbye.